Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to talk about victims. Most of you that watch my content, you know that I can be quite the smart ass, so I just want to let you know there's not going to be a lot of that activity going on in this video. I'm going to try to be a non-smart ass. I'm going to try. No guarantees. Now I'm not talking about true victims that have endured very horrendous things in their life, things that have happened to them that were beyond their control. I'm talking about people that love to play victim. People that can't take responsibility for their own actions, that blame everybody else for their problems, and they identify 100% as a victim. They love to be a victim.
And I'm never probably too much home because I'm either in the hospital, from being sick, or at an appointment for my radiation treatment, or I'm sleeping all day, not eating. I've been in and out of the hospital. That's when I've been in and out of the hospital. That's one thing, I don't hardly leave my residence, besides when I go to, the cancer hospital and to my appointment, because I can't really get around much. And I haven't hardly left my home besides to go to my appointment. I stay in my house. I don't even go out my house. My children are even scared if I step up foot, what would happen? They're afraid they're going to lose me. Because they don't know if she's going to shoot me or not, if she would actually do it. It was my daughter, and it was the judge gave me 5 years for killing our daughter. I didn't know my husband had a gun, and pulled the gun out in the courtroom and shot the guy in the back of the head. And I have been shot 4 times in the stomach. I live with a bullet in my stomach. It was scary for me because, like I said before, I was shot 4 times in the stomach. I still live with a bullet in my stomach they cannot remove. And now I'm living with cancer.
I'm bringing this up and I wanted you to listen to this because this is a personal experience that my husband and I had to endure. And I'm just going to give you a brief overall with this. When you listen to this, there's probably a part of you that might feel sorry for this lady. You're thinking, oh my goodness, she has cancer. She's in and out of the hospital for her cancer treatment. She never leaves her home. The bottom line with it was that her and her son, they had trapped and killed a colony of cats that I was taking care of. That's really the bottom line story with it, which they denied the whole thing. But what had happened with it was they had she played victim. So whenever the cops got involved and then eventually it went to court and judges were involved, everybody felt sorry for her. And I didn't do well with this woman because I'm very much a communicator and I wanted to try to talk through it with her, but there was no reasoning with her. Now, mind you, one of the very first stories she told me when I had first met her was that her son was what she told me was murdered. And this happened back in Michigan. And when they went into court, her husband at that time brought a gun into the courtroom, shot and killed the guy that killed the son, and then turned it on himself and shot and killed himself. Now, the first time, this is just one of the stories, okay? This came out in court because I was trying to show that this lady is a liar and that she is playing the sympathy feel sorry for me card. And it didn't matter. And it really blew my mind because she played the cancer card, okay? She literally said she had cancer and she did not have cancer to get pity and for people to feel sorry for her, and it works. She's got a victim advocate with her, and for what? There was nothing done. She's telling the judge that I might shoot her. Why? I mean, it was so much made up bullshit that everybody believed. It didn't matter what I said. I'm this healthy woman that's got a voice on her, and I'm looked down on right away. And it was just a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you. But the reason I'm showing it is because I honestly don't really have a lot of compassion for this. I don't. Because there are real victims in this world, people that have been horribly hurt in ways that are just indescribable. If you ever watched any of these true crime shows, these people get that title. They're victims, okay? This is not victimhood, and we're living in a culture, most definitely, where people love to be a victim. And why? Why is that? It's attention. And that would be the other thing with this woman. It's all about attention. She needs attention. And that should have been my red flag right away with her when she was telling me these stories. is she wanted my reaction, she wanted my attention, and she just wanted to be liked. Because in truth, she's not likable. Nothing about her is likable. My experience, my first time literally ever really dealing with somebody on that level of victimhood, where she used being a victim to her advantage, to get people to feel sorry for her, to people to, believe her stories, even though she had no evidence or anything to back up anything she said, people still believed her because of her victimhood and really how she lives. So Jeff and Shalia, they're playing the victim card. And now it's horrible what's happening to them.
Quite frankly, there's an evil that is trying to suppress it and kill it. And we have been the victims of that. Please support us if you can. It has not been easy for us, and we're being truly victimized. This is really scary what's happening to us, and it can happen to you too.
And it's not okay.
It's not okay.
Very painful for us. Very damaging to us emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, financially, and reputationally.
Feel sorry for us. Oh no, it's horrible. Our millions, they might go down the drain. People won't come to us for this fake advice and this fake bullshit. Oh, it's just so horrible. Woe is us, poor us. We're victims, we're being victimized. People are so mean to us. And there's reason people are doing what they're doing. It's an identity. When somebody owns that title, right? They're so attached to that label of victim. When you put that cult mentality, and the things that Jeff has done and said to get them sucked in, again, I believe that these people, they're adults. They're adults. Every one of them are adults making a free will choice to join and enter and paying the money. Nobody's twisting their arm. And I think of the thing with the jump off a cliff, which my dad, when I was younger, always say, what are you going to jump off a cliff for your friend? It's like, well, of course not. So why are you doing that? You're not going to do that. I struggle with the approach of it. If I say it one way, then I'm not compassionate. If I say another way, then I'm, coddling or enabling, I think is a really good word. And that will lead me into this next video. In the level of enabling. So I want to mention this young girl, who I'm not going to say her name or show her face. She was in the Twin Flame universe and twice, and she ended up getting out. Well, she's on a certain Facebook group that I'm on, and she had made a comment that she wants to tell her story. She never made it to the Netflix documentary, and she really wants to tell her story. And so I said, well, I have a YouTube channel. If you like, I could do an interview. And so I sent her a personal message. We had chatted for one brief moment when she'd made it very clear she wants to make money off of her story. So why is she any different than Jeff and Shalia in truth? It's get into it, spend all this money. Now, poor me, I got sucked into this cult, and now I'm a survivor of this cult, and I've got such a great story. Everybody's got a great story, okay? Everybody's got a story. But I want to profit and I want to make money off of it. I don't want to help anybody else. Well, maybe if I can along the way, but bottom line, I just want to make the money off of it. Well, that's when I pulled back, because that wasn't my interest. I'm not interested in that. If you want to share and talk, that's fine. But I'm not an enabler, and I'm not one to be amazed by much of anything. So she's not going to get this big grandstand. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh, how horrible they did that to you. No, because she made her choice to go in it, not only once, but she went twice into the Twin Flame. So what had happened was this YouTuber that's done quite a bit on the Twin Flame universe ended up putting this girl on her own show. This girl pretty much takes over. It's not even an interview. She has got her theater, her stage, and she's performing. And so, and I'm not showing her because that's what she wants. She wants attention. So this is a girl that is strictly looking for the attention. And when you listen to her, and I just want you to listen to her. Let's just do that.
The thing I did was I went and I got hypnosis. I was and I was seeing a therapist and then after that, I basically joined the cult. Like, that was the very first time that I'd ever joined TFU. Because there were two different times that I joined it. That I believed was a twin flame. Got a restraining order against me in 2021. The restraining order on me. And then, like, I moved back home And then I ended up blowing up on all of my theater friends about the past. You know what I mean? Because all that stuff had just happened. I'd just gone through it. And then I just like totally blew up at them. All at once, they got a restraining order on me. I lost my agent at the time. I lost my entire theater company that I had been working with for years, which was a shame. And after that, I was like, I need help. I went to TFU. I was like, I need coaching. They started giving me coaching, and it just, like, I ended up going to a hospital. They were actually the first that convinced me, because I had a good coach. The first coach that I had was perfect. You know what I mean? She actually told me, go to a hospital. I did. I went to 3 separate hospitals. And I couldn't get over it, but it kept making me more and more and more obsessive. You know what I mean?
She goes to TFU too, and she's being coached by one of their very skilled and very accredited coaches that are really, really top notch. And they're, oh, no, you need to go to a hospital. She already probably knows this, but so she goes to 3 hospitals, not just one, but she goes to 3 hospitals. But the coach is really good because she tells her to go to a hospital. But I'm back on the theater part. Blows up on her theater group that has nothing to do with anything, and now she gets a bunch of restraining orders on her.
And I kept paying them more and more and more money these sessions. And this year I worked with a different coach. And then that coach was encouraging harassment on the person who ended up putting me in jail for stalking and got a restraining order.
Okay, so she's already has restraining orders on her, okay? And now she ends up going to jail. So she goes back to the coaching. At what point in time does she take responsibility for her own choices? Now, mind you, I don't care at all for Jeff and Shalia and TFU at all. But people do need to take responsibility, right? And she's not. You know, she really just wants to grandstand. That's just all she wants.
They're like, stop. Like, he's not your twin flame. It takes them until that point to tell you that that's not your twin flame. Are you serious? It's like, you should have known at the beginning when I started messaging him and I was like, he's not messaging me back. Stop communication. That should have been, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they should have been like, stop it. And I would have been like, sure. You know what I mean? And it was just so crazy. I was so obsessive. Like, twin flames in general made me so obsessive.
And that's it right there. She's obsessed because what it is Jeff and Shalia promise to find your twin flame. They are going to find you, the love of your life. And young girls like this, and I'm saying mostly women in this group, they want desperately to fall in love. And if it doesn't work out, then they're the victim. It's everybody else's problem but yours. It's no different than a dating site when you come right down to it. She keeps paying them money because they keep failing at finding her the twin flame.
It was just, it made me so obsessive, so crazy, so insane, so delusional. And there was nothing I could, like, I felt like, you know, when you're an addict, you're powerless over the drug. It was a drug.
Why was it a drug? Why would this be a drug? Why was she so obsessed with finding her twin flame? Because she doesn't know how to be alone. She does not know how to embrace herself and be alone. I thought self-love was the one thing that TFU taught. Obviously not. Because that's what needs to be taught, is for them to understand who they are first before they get into any kind of relationship. But she's so obsessed because she believes that with all the money she spent and keeps spending, that they're gonna find her true love. I just want to ask, I mean, listening to her, what do you think immediately, listening to this right now, this is Mike's first time hearing her, what are you feeling when you hear her?
Run fast and hard.
Run fast and hard, that's what he said. Run fast and hard. Who, you? Like a guy, another guy? Or what do you, who's running fast and hard?
Me.
Away from her.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Like, and people don't realize. Like, that's when I started to realize how crazy it was. Like, after the first restraining orders came through, like, that's when I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, but I kept doing the coaching and stuff, and I didn't realize, like, I'm being programmed. Like, I'm being conditioned.
Well, I hate to break it to you, young girl, but you've been programmed from the minute you came out of your mother's bate. That's what this world is. It's all programming. It's all conditioning. It's when you say, no, that doesn't fit or doesn't work for me. Sorry it took you that long to figure it out, but she still hasn't figured it out. She still hasn't. And her story is not that big of a deal, but she makes it sound like, oh, it's such a big deal. Victim. Loves to be the victim. She loves this shit.
I went immediately to an outpatient after jail and everything, and I said to myself, I need to get help in a cult, and all this has happened. So I got out because I went directly to a church, and then I converted to Christianity, and church, out of all people, helped me leave the cult. So thank you, church. I love my church. And then everybody's been praying for me profusely, and God has been so good. Like, I have forgiven everyone for the past and like let go of resentment, and like it's been so healing for me to be a part of church and grow closer to God and develop a relationship with God. And I encourage people, like, you know, if you are trapped in this cult, like, leave and go find Jesus, because Jesus can be the ultimate lover that you never got. And you have yourself, and you need to pour all that love and energy and obsession that you've been pouring to some other guy who doesn't want you, obviously, onto yourself.
Okay, so she literally went from one cult to another cult. That's all she did. And what is she doing? She is pushing her church cult onto her audience right here on YouTube. Go find Jesus, go to a church, they're going to help you. What's the difference between Twin Flame Universe and their Church of Unionism and just a regular church? What's the difference? There is no difference. It's the same thing. It's the same mindset, the same control. And so she literally isn't doing herself any favors. It's like when you quit smoking and you start smoking pot instead. It's doing one thing to replace, it's constantly filling that void. Now she's pushing Jesus, which is Jeff. I mean, you had Jeff. Jeff is Jesus. Why did you leave Jesus for another Jesus? What Jesus? Come on, man. But she's all good about it. They're all praying for her, and I'm sure that works. I'm sure that's helping.
Quit and become like dating coaches at this point. Do the dating coach. Change the forum. None of you want to do this. I know you people. None of you actually want to do this anymore. You're all sick of it. You're all sick of the same bullshit over and over and over again. Stop exhausting yourselves. Repent. You know, become born again Christians and change the entire thing to be a dating service. You'll make 10 times more money, making people pay a monthly fee to be in the group.
Does she think, is she not paying to go to church? Of course she's paying to repent. What the fuck? I mean, seriously, repent? So, oh man, I swear, my shirt, you like my shirt? Please, people, use it. Okay, so, I'm like sweating on this one. This young girl, that when she was into TFU had told her she needed to be a Ascension coach. The Ascension coach is who she was going to. This is who you'd be talking to if you had some serious issues and you really needed to be coached by somebody. This would be your coach. Imagine that. Just imagine it, okay? They don't care about your qualifications, your mental state, none of that. They just want you to pay the $4,000 and go into the program to be an Ascension coach. What she's doing here, and she didn't do it because she didn't have the money, but I guarantee the stroking of the ego that Jeff and Shalia put on her to spend that money, she would have done it if she had the money, because it would have been a huge compliment to her. So what she's doing now in this little piece here, all this was advice. And she's telling the YouTuber that what TFU needs to do, instead of doing the twin flame thing, is they need to be a dating site now. I mean, it's not like we don't have enough of those out there, but just change the format and leave Jesus out of it and just be a dating site. That's what her advice is. And then charge people, because it is all about money. That's what her advice is. It's not about dissolving TFU. I mean, she literally is suggesting that, which is ridiculous. So if you're honestly feel like you're a victim of something, you really want that business to keep going. You know what I'm saying by that? I don't even want to say, I'm cutting that out. I'm not saying that. I really, being aware of my language and the repetitive words that are used as fillers. And I'm not a robot. Okay, I'm not sure if I need to say anything more. I think you get my point here. This young girl here could be the person that I could be talking to if I fell for this bullshit. I could be talking to her, and she could be trying to heal my trauma. And then next, they're gonna put her as a volunteer in the MAP program. You see how that works?
Ascension coaching, gone. Dating coaching now. Match people. Help people actually find love. Because I could have used that rather than all of this. Like, you could have found me someone in seconds. There are over 25,000 people in that group. My perfect match had to have been somewhere. And you could have partnered me with a really nice guy, okay, who wasn't crazy and insane and like a nice person. You could have saved me a lot of heartache because you had the means to do so.
Can you hear that? She's saying you could have. She's talking directly to Jeff and Shalia at this point. You could have found me the perfect match. 25,000 people, which I highly doubt that. He's out there somewhere. You could have found me someone that would be good, that's not crazy and screwed up. You could have found me the perfect one and you didn't. How dare you not do that? I was very happy that I did not interview her. How do you deal with this girl? She's a young girl. I mean, I'd put her in her early 20s. Is she a theater major? Is this all an act? Is she putting on a show? Or does she really truly have some mental health issues? How do you know? Do we encourage them? Do we keep encouraging them? Or do we say, hey, enough? No, I'm not interested in your story. How do you know what to do with that? I mean, I know the minute I called out Connie, it doesn't matter if I say her name, called her out, right in court. I said she was lying about having cancer and the judge shut me right down. It's like, you don't talk about that. You do not say that to a victim. You do not call them out. People, she lied about having cancer and you don't call them out. We got to walk gently on this stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I think that's the hardest thing with this. I don't know if this girl truly needs help or not. So I went and looked at this young girl's Facebook page, and the very day that this YouTube video came out, she does a post about needing help and being really messed up, and she needs help, and she wants everyone out there to call a Baker Act on her, the Baker's Act. I didn't know, I'd never heard of that, so I looked it up. It allows individuals to be involuntarily committed if they are a threat or danger to the public or themselves. So on this post, please, for the love of God, Baker Act me, or someone send me the address of a domestic violence. She needs to not be given this attention. And what she really needs is for somebody that actually really does love and care for her is to get her medical help, mental help. We have become a nation of victims where everyone is leapfrogging over each other, publicly competing for the status of victim, and where everyone is defined as some sort of survivor. Anyway, I know you wanted me to be I think I was a smart ass. Yeah, I was a couple times I was a smart ass, wasn't I? I kind of have to be a smart ass. Because it's really hard to take a lot of this stuff seriously, where you don't even know people anymore. You really don't. You don't know who your neighbor is. You don't know people. And that's why you need to be very leery of who you get involved with. We certainly learned our lesson with this bitch down the road, and she gets that title. Okay, I'm sweating my ass off. Oh, that's a good ending. See, it's like, we live in Arizona. There's my ending. And we're at 120 today, so it's hot as fuck. So, and I'm sweating my ass off here. All right, so anyway, see you on the next one. Divine Dish, I think, yeah. Yeah, join me for a fabulous meal. We'll sit together and we'll create a recipe together of love.
Can you feel